The inspiration of this piece was actually quite simple. I had met Alyssa Fresh. I was definitely wanted to make a piece about the human condition, about the way people interact with each other, and Alyssa came into rehearsal and was chit-chatting with us about, it was her birthday. Fresh?
Yeah.
It was your birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her birthday. And she was showing us all these balloons and all these gifts, and she was talking, and I had never met her before. I was like, let's remember this. This whole idea of this constant talking. And so we began to play with this idea of talking and maybe not being heard. And one thing led to another, and we made a piece about needing to be heard, but waiting to find the right person to hear you.
Well, the story kind of got unraveled as I showed up to rehearsal one day, so I kind of feel like I relate to the piece a lot, because in some aspects I'm playing myself, but it's just exaggerated in some areas.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me?
I can relate to this piece because I think we all have that moment where we feel we're not being heard, or people are not understanding what we're trying to say. So I feel that's what the story or main theme of the piece is, so I can definitely relate to it.
My choreographic process is very collaborative. Oftentimes we'll start with a phrase, and we usually don't end up using the phrase, but we do use the phrase to sort of get the aesthetic of what it is that we're kind of going for with the piece. From there, I broke the dancers up in groups, and I do this with my company as well. We'll break up into groups, and I'll give some cue words. I think, for example, some of the words were simple rhymes, like whoop, swoop, scoop, loop, stoop. Things that didn't really make much sense, but that gave some sort of initiative for the dancer, some sort of feeling. And then from there, I just had them perform these individual solos closer together. So after the directives, they came closer together, and I coached them to find places where they could connect.
Like, she has a style to her, so the way that we dance, even though when she's creating these things that are like, okay, I want you to flick and do a trick and something sick, then no matter what the movement is, we know what style she's looking for, kind of. So it's almost like we're choreographing, but it's her intent. So it's kind of interesting. I've never really done a lot like that before, where I'm given just a little bit of information and I just kind of have to go with it. But my part in the dance is a lot of her giving me free rein.
The choreographic process was very different than what I've done before, and I really liked how I got to experience a new way of learning and making choreography, so I really enjoy the process.
I think a piece of mine is successful when the audience leaves having a conversation with themselves. Oh, I know, or oh, that happened to me, or oh, I saw myself in that.
I hope the audience is able to make their own connections and make their own little stories and see how they can relate what they've been through to the main theme of our choreography.
We're all looking for someone to listen to us, and we all have that person in our lives that we just can't, there's something off, and it's like we can't grasp it totally. And as much as we want to help people, sometimes we can't. And as much as we want people there for us, sometimes the wrong people are where we're looking.
Oh my goodness! Yuck! Oh my goodness!
I make dance because I have something to say about being human and vulnerable. And it is my hope that I create works that suggest something that we all as humans share in common.